Hey everybody, BigStew here, and we're going to touch on some geology today. Now, we're talking about more than just rocks here. Not like a little pebble that you might get in your shoe, or not like a rock that you fall down and skin your knee and get a boo-boo. We're talking about big rocks, great big rocks, big, huge, mega large rocks. Now, we're going to go back in time just a little bit, quite some time, back when the Earth didn't quite look like what it does now. All right. Scientists believe that the Earth was clustered into this one big lump, and they called it Pangaea. And over time, bits and pieces of Pangaea began to break apart, all right, and form continents. Well, the continents and what's under the ocean sit on big chunks of Earth's crust called tectonic plates. And these plates move around, they don't just sit still. Imagine if you had a really big pan and you filled it full of syrup, and you put pancakes on top of that syrup, and the syrup was deep enough that the pancakes could kind of float on top. All right. The syrup would represent the Earth's layer called the mantle, which is kind of a gooey, hot liquid, magma, basically. And the crust, the harder spots, would be your pancakes. Now, sometimes these pancakes move around and they may bump into each other, or they may slide past each other, or they may pull apart from each other. Okay? I want to talk to you a little bit about the different types of plates. All right. Here's one called convergent. All right. In convergent plates, you've got two tectonic plates that are pushing towards each other. If you want to think of it like a relationship, this is like when a couple first gets together. All right. They push towards each other. Now, there's so much pressure when these two plates push together that it can cause folded mountains where, just like if you take two pieces of bread and squish them together, sometimes they kind of push up and form these little lumps. All right. Well, these are your lumpy mountains, your lumpy bread mountains. All right. Two plates pushing together. Convergent. All right. Then you've got another type of plate boundary called divergent. All right. This is when the two plates pull away from each other. Notice your arrows are going in opposite directions. All right. When they pull apart, they leave a gap in between. All right. Think of this in relationship terms as a breakup. It's not fun, but it happens periodically. This is divergent. They're pulling apart. All right. We've got a third type of boundary called a transform boundary. And instead of pushing together or pulling apart, these are sliding past each other. All right. If you have ever gone to the playground on a really hot day and you were wearing short shorts and you tried to go down the slide, you know how it feels like most of your body is moving one direction and the backs of your thighs get left behind on that slide? That's kind of like a transform boundary. It's sliding past. All right. This is where you end up with earthquakes and things like that. And then you have kind of a mini plate boundary called subduction. All right. Now, subduction is a type of convergent boundary, so it's not its own individual thing. But what happens is when these two plates push together, one plate gets pushed up underneath the other one. And so when that happens, it gets so hot that crust melts and turns into magma. So you got heat and pressure so strong that it turns rock into liquid. All right. Now, all throughout Earth, you've got different type of plate boundaries going on. All right. Some plate boundaries are bigger than an entire continent, the plates themselves, and some plates are kind of small. But just like when you have to get in line for something and sometimes there's some pushing and shoving going on, This is the same thing going on with these plate boundaries. There's some pushing and shoving going along. Sometimes two push together, sometimes two pull apart, sometimes two slide past each other. And if you trip and fall, sometimes one ends up pushed on top of the other one. All right. We're going to talk a little bit more about these different types of plate boundaries and what gets formed at each one of these. And I'm also going to teach you a little song. So I'm going to save my singing voice for tomorrow. But 4 types of plate boundaries: convergent, divergent, transform, and subduction. All right, have a good one.